Welcome back to the Resilient Philosopher. This is De Leon Dantes. In this week's episode, I'm going to give my reflection on death. What happens when we die? This is completely based on my own personal point of view. There is no scientific evidence, no theology behind it. This I curated from a younger age, I would say in my 20s, and really fine-tuned it when my mother passed away. I am a spiritualist. I am not aligned with any religion or denomination. I identify myself as a person that I believe in the self first. I believe in higher powers. I believe in different gods. But I also like factual evidence. So I believe in evolution. I believe in science. I believe in science because it's factual. I believe in evolution because it's factual. So when people try to justify death with religion, it really doesn't mean anything to me. I don't believe it. But I do believe one thing though, and this is what this episode is going to be about. I do believe, and again, through my own interpretation of science, this is factual though, we carry in our DNA the genetic makeup of our parents. They carry the genetic makeup of their parents. And you see where this is going. So when our parents died, in my case, my mom died. Yes, she did die. She's gone. But a part of her wasn't me. A part of her was passed down to my children. So even though she's physically gone, she's no longer with me, part of her is with me. And to me, that is the spirit. That is the self. Scientifically, I've studied, and not in an academic way, but I've studied that everything turns into matter. But what happens to that electrical system that kept the body going? What happens to what some religious people call the spirit, the soul? Through entropy, we know that everything, it can be broken down to matter and particles and so forth. But personally, I think that the body is gone. The electrical field can't or will not really follow the law of physics as we know it. I think the spirit is more of a quantum physics interpretation of who we are. And again, this is where it goes to La La Land, and they have made so many movies that touch the subject that I really don't agree with them all. But the one movie that actually made me realize the possibility of this being true was the movie Contact. When she, at the end, and I'm sorry for the spoiler if you haven't seen it, finally meets up with her father again. I truly do believe that when we die, wherever we go, it's not the flesh that goes, but it's that electrical force or self-conscious that goes with it. I believe that our final coding goes through there. And because it doesn't have any weight, any physical seen particles, so it turns more like photons, which can go at the speed of light. It will be almost instantaneous that you die here and reappear somewhere else. That is just my belief. Now, since the genetics pass on from our parents and our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents, and we pass it on to our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids, who isn't to say that genetically our makeup had been around before? When I did my ancestry, it showed that my maternal, I forgot how you say the word, but my maternal lineage has been around for 30,000 years. My father has been around for, I think it was 150,000 years. And there was a time there where, roughly 3,000 years, where both of them have been aligned together. And 3,000 years, that means the lineage of who I am was around. I'm not saying I've been alive before. This is not about that. I don't believe in reincarnation as we know it. But I do believe that when we say things like, I don't know who you're not like your father, you're not like your mom, you're not like your brothers, and I know your whole family, you're not like any of them. Did they adopted you? No. See, genetically, we could be about similar to somebody who none of our living members of the family have ever met. And that is why I hold on to the idea that, yes, my mom is around here. My mom is part of me. She's with me. Personally, I haven't studied as into how far genetically certain traits go with our genes. There are things that my kids do that remind me of my mom. Things that I do that, well, this is learned because she did raise me. But my youngest daughter was born. Sorry. My youngest daughter was born after, I should say, my mom died. My mom never got to meet her. And she would take the picture and give her a kiss. Yes, my wife taught her that. I also contributed to it, but I felt the same way with my father's mom that I didn't get to meet. And I still look at her picture and I wish so much I would have met her. I think me and her would have been a lot alike. I really do. And the reason why I say that is because I know my father was close to her as well. And he taught us to respect our mom. Our mom was like the queen of the house. And mom came first. I remember my mom liked us to call her every single day. And my dad would say, I don't care if you don't talk to me ever, you have to call your mom. You haven't called her today. You need to call her. She's sick and worry about you. Call her. And I miss that a lot. I miss calling my mom. And those are things that now I look back and I see the importance of doing. Life goes on and we must hold on to the positive side of things. So instead of continuously feeling depressed about the loss of my mom, I've decided to turn it around. Since I know genetically she is part of me and part of my kids, I see them. And I see them not, when I see her and them, I should say, I see it not when they're upset, not when they're crying, but when they're happy. And I focus on that. So whenever my daughter is smiling, whenever my daughter comes and gives me a hug or gives me a kiss, any of my kids, I think of her and how happy it will make her to see that right there, that love between us, because she was a very family-oriented person. And so is my dad, but my dad is still alive. And that is what I use to remember her in a positive way that brings a smile to my face. And that is the key point of this episode. How can we turn the sadness of losing a loved one into something positive? First, I will mention that a person that loves us does not want us to be sad. A person that you love you don't want them to see you sad. So right off the back, as I've told my kids and I told my wife, when I die, I want you guys to remember me happy. And therefore, I'd rather you put happy music that reminds you of how happy I am and not cry away. I know they will. That's up to them. I'm assuming they will, I should say. That is up to them. Everybody grieves, goes through a grieving period differently. But the reality of the matter is, when I heard that song from Willie Nelson, Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Died, my son, the first time he heard it with me, he's like, well, that's stupid. But you want me to roll you up and smoke you when you die? I said, no, son, it's not that. I just want you to feel like I'm there with you and do what we have done when we have fun, whether that is joking around, watching a funny movie. Do the stuff that we have fun doing when I'm gone. Don't stop having fun. I'm gone. I'm no longer there to hold you back in any way or form. I've never wanted to. That's one thing that I've truly tried to teach my kids, to be independent. So when I'm dead, I don't want them to be dependent on my feelings or me being here for them to find happiness. No, you need to find happiness in your own way, and remember me in a happy way. Yes, take your time, sink in the emotions, feel the pain. But just remember, the longer you hold on to the pain, the harder it is to remember the joy. Think about it. The longer you hold on to the pain, the less you will remember the joy. That is why I say give yourself enough time to remember something positive and happy. And when that happens, the moment that happens, laugh and live that moment. Live in that moment, because if you push it away because you feel ashamed to laugh about it and to enjoy a funny moment with that loved one that passed away, you're pushing away the positive energy that that person will want you to have in that moment. So again, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to feel bad. But what's not okay is to forget the happy moments, to forget that silliness from our loved ones, to forget how they enjoyed a certain meal, even if nobody liked it, how they like to prank you, how much they enjoyed. Like my mom will call me and say, your dad just spent 20 minutes looking for his glasses and they were on top of his head the whole entire time. And we will laugh like crazy. And I will hear my dad in the background going, oh yeah, you guys think it's funny. And he was laughing too. See, those are the things that I hold on to now. You know why? Because these are the things that I can talk to my daughter about the older she gets. And she can find out how happy her grandmother was. So when she's making jokes like that, she can actually move on the stories and say, you know what? My grandma was the same way. And, I must have gotten it from her. See, that's what you need to remember. She does not need to know how I saw my mom just disappear in front of us. That negative part, yes, if she asks one day, I will tell her. It's unnecessary for her to remember because it's not something I wish to remember. That is why all the pictures that I have of my mom around my house are of her happy with a smile. Those last minutes, because she died from cancer, I regret taking those pictures because they don't bring nothing but pain. I don't delete them because they're there, but it's a memory I don't like visiting. I never look at one of those pictures. I never do. I only look at the pictures where she's happy. And that is the important part right there. Remember the happiness that they brought you to your life. Personally, that's just the way I feel that is the best way to deal with grief. And is the best way to teach your grandkids or your kids about that loved one that passed away. It doesn't get any easier, by the way. So my grandmother, my mom's mom, and my grandfather, my grandmother on my mother's side, when she lost her mom, and she was 96, it hurt her. When she lost her half sister, it hurt her. I mean, it always hurts when you lose a loved one. And then she had to lose my aunt to a heart attack. No goodbyes, nothing. Then she loses my mom to cancer. And this woman is 93 years old and still holding on strong and clear mind. And my grandfather is 97 and still holding on with a clear mind. And I look at the two of them and I just say, how? How is that possible? And then the only thing I can think of is they remember the good times. Do the bad memories come along? Yes. Do they miss their daughters? Yes. Do they wish they were still around? Yes. Again, we all want what's best for our loved ones. But if you just drown yourself in that pain, the longer you are drowning in that, the more you miss out or you lose on the positive part of it, the positive memories. And if you have religious beliefs, such as Christianity, and you believe that she went to heaven, then why are you sad? She's now safe in heaven. And if you don't believe in that, like myself, why dread on the things unknown? Why dread on that? Murphy's Law says whatever will go wrong will go wrong. While I say, whatever happens next, when we die, I'll find out when I die. Why rush to that? Why worry about that? I mean, that's not what your loved one would want. I mean, no human can really sit there, concentrate on dying, and actually understand what it feels like. Even if you've had a close to a near-death experience, the mind plays so many tricks on you or your brain in order to survive and justify living. That is unreliable what they say to you back. So again, why worry about that? If you can enjoy the moment that you're here alive around your loved ones, then what makes you think dying is going to make it any better? Why worry about what happens when you die? And again, losing a loved one is hard. By no means let anyone minimize that for you. Losing a loved one is hard, and it takes time to fully recover. And you don't really ever fully recover because, especially when it comes to your mom, to your kids, or to your parents, to your kids, the pain will always remain. But you learn to live with it. You learned to turn it into something positive. And that is what I want you to know today in this episode. If you have lost someone recently, and this episode brings a smile to your face because you remember something funny, as my mom used to make fun of my dad for not finding his glasses, and you laughed, hold on to that laughter. Enjoy it just as much as the pain or more because you're remembering them. And that is the important part. Remembering them, because for as long as you remember them, they're still alive in your mind. For as long as you remember them, they're still with you. And that is something that not even nature can take away from you. Stay resilient, stay strong, because we need you. Now, I would like to let everybody know that the book, Leadership Lessons from the Edge of Mental Health, is now available on Audible, and it is also available in digital format in pretty much everywhere. The volume 2, which is Mastering the Self, is also available only on digital in all platforms, but it is available also for limited time in print through Amazon. And the book, my favorite book that I have written, is The Resilient Philosopher, The Prism of Life, or Reality, sorry. This book is by far the favorite book that I've written, and it is the core philosophy which these episodes are all based about. And I am biased because I'm the writer, but I really recommend that the best way you can help this work is by purchasing a book. Now, I know things are rough economically, so my advice is buy it digitally. It is the least expensive way, and it is the way that you help me the most, believe it or not. Printing editions are more expensive to print, and as a writer, I actually make less money. So if you really want to help and not spend too much money, buying the book in a digital format is the best way you can help. Links are available at the website, visionleon.com, and you can go there to follow the links to buy it. Personally, I have complete rights over Mastering the Self. So that one you can actually buy the PDF straight from the website. Again, if you really want to help, this is the best way to do so. And if you want more exclusive content, more exclusive information, you can always subscribe. There's different levels of subscription, but you can also email me at leondantes@visionleon.com. Like always, this is my pleasure to do for anyone that needs help. And unfortunately, we all have to make a living. But if I could ever, ever help you in any way, I do not put money in front of helping others. I don't have money to give, so I could never do that. But if you email me and you have a question, I am not going to look up if you are a subscribed member or anything like that. Whatever information I can share with you, it will be through research. So I might not be able to answer anything at the moment, but I will look up the information from reliable sources to relay back to you. Thanks to the Southern New Hampshire University, which is where I'm getting my degree, I have access to reliable academic sources that I use on my own schoolwork that I could really use for advice, especially when it comes to mental health. I always say, seek a therapist. It's okay. We all need help at times. It might take 2 sessions. It might take 3. It might take a year. But I strongly recommend that the best thing you can do if you're facing any mental health issues is to seek professional help, which I cannot give you. So please do not hesitate to seek any therapy in any form with a licensed therapist if you have any mental health issues going on, especially depression. We're living in a time that with all the insecurities, it's really, really easy to fall into depression. Stay resilient, stay strong, always show up for yourself, and remember, we are all resilient philosophers.